We're going to talk about the impact and measuring your specific steps along the buyer journey after you put all this information into practice into your organisation. Across your organisation, you probably already have some kind of KPIs or metrics that you're using. Here though, we need to refine those metrics and the areas of focus to begin with and regularly going forward so you can optimise that customer journey across your revenue engine. From a metric standpoint, we leverage the supporting lines concept developed by Jeff Smith, who's the COO of Mobify, a tech startup. The concept is one that is simple yet powerful. It's based on a recognised industry standards by tech companies for planning and measurement, the OKR. It's an acronym for Objectives and Key Results. OKRs are an effective way to set targets and align an organisation in any sector. That said, in using them himself at Mobify, it became apparent to Jeff that the model needed to evolve. OKRs were conceived by Grove in 1971. They improved upon the business management by objectives, NGOs approach, developed by Peter Drucker in the 1950s. According to John Doerr's book, Measure What Matters, there are several key distinctions between OKRs and NGOs. OKRs decouple goals from compensation. NGOs were tied to compensation, which created an interesting behaviour and sometimes sandbagging from a sales perspective. OKRs are visible across an organisation, whereas NGOs are individual goals and shared between an employee and their manager. OKRs are dynamic. We've all experienced the set it and forget it method of planning. OKRs are more dynamic and an ongoing system versus static goals. And it worked. One of the most dramatic examples of the power of OKRs is in Intel's Operation Crush. As Doerr relates in his book, this operation saw Intel respond in a matter of months to an essential threat. OKRs were the backbone of a complete go-to-market reset involving thousands of employees. And without OKRs, the pivot would have been impossible. OKRs helped Intel avoid a collapse and instead achieve that market dominance. In our experience, and also through Doerr's book, OKRs can be difficult to implement. Many organisations struggle to ensure that inter-group dependencies across teams and functional silos are visible, understood and agreed. This is where the supporting lines comes in. Supporting lines help OKRs empower cross-functional teams. The evolution of OKRs. There's a great quote from a Zen master: each of you is perfect the way you are, and you can use a little improvement. After almost 50 years, OKRs, while perfect, could use a little improvement. A supporting line is a commitment between two people. Key result owner. The key result owner, or KR, identifies the critical dependencies for them to achieve that key result. Who around your organisation will you depend on to deliver that? What help do you need? Direct support. The KR owner identified this person as a direct support or person that's critical to them delivering that key result. Without their help, the key result will not be achieved. The direct support agrees to provide a specific, timely scope of support to the key results owner. This commitment is called a supporting line. The supporting lines model is game-changing. It offers a sophisticated, effective way for people to articulate the support that they need to hit their goals and a framework to mutually agree on the support commitment. The integration of OKRs and supporting lines truly unlocks the power of OKRs and increases the likelihood that the goal will actually be accomplished. I'll share with you an example of how it can work. Let's say one of your priorities is step 2 on the buyer journey, where the buyer researches options before starting an evaluation. Here's an example where KPIs should be transformed to add supporting lines. In this particular case, customer success has a supporting line for marketing to produce happy customers that marketing can turn into customer references, white papers, and speaking engagements. There's a supporting line between marketing and sales to produce quality references that are effective for sales teams and compelling for buyers. Recall that at this point, persuasion is the priority for salespeople and should be for marketing at this point. Marketing and sales independently, of course, have their own KPIs or OKRs here too, and without that, bad things can happen. Here's another example of supporting lines looking more broadly at your revenue engine teams. I worked with an organisation that had a 6-month sales cycle on average, a tech team. It took 3 months for sales to get a verbal agreement from a new potential customer that they wanted to buy that solution. But then took another 3 months to actually close the deal. Looking across all of the sales teams worldwide, it became clear that every team in every country had this same issue. Sales forecasts were slipping from quarter to quarter as the sales team were at the mercy of their customers and did not appear to be able to shorten that sales cycle into less than 3 months to close. Analysing the situation in more detail, we saw that security was becoming a large hurdle with the teams to overcome with their customers to close that deal. So we worked with the Chief Security Officer at that software company to put together a program that pre-sales and sales could deliver as a new step in the sales process. It was designed to address the main concerns of the customer's security team, that team that was the biggest hurdle. By developing a security and pre-sales joint presentation and training sales how to introduce it into their sales cycle, this dramatically shortened their sales cycle across the globe by over 200%. One sales rep actually used it to close their deal in just 3 weeks, not 3 months, after a verbal agreement to purchase. So look to add supporting lines into your revenue engine to measure and manage the KPIs that really matter across your organisation and manage the dependencies that we have upon each other. If you've enjoyed this video and want to learn more, please visit us at therevenge.com. We look forward to being able to help you add resiliency into your revenue engine from lead to renewal. Supporting lines can be a key factor in the measurement and driving success throughout your organisation. You can also call me directly and email me at chris_fletcher@huuru.com.